What's going on, guys? DeanCentral here, bringing you another episode of Advanced Rust Building. In this one, I have a pretty sick base design that I put together for you guys. I call it the Supercombed base. You'll see why shortly. Immediately when walking into the base, you can notice that the research table and the repair table are tucked away. The reason I did this is because the whole point of this base is for it to be very compact, so this would be perfect for a small group of players. When you go up to the next floor, there's two doors here. On the left is a utility closet. You could use this for whatever you would like, but I used it as a furnace or burning room. Behind the second door is just how you go up to the next story of the base, and up here there's another two doors. Through the right side is the defensive ring of the base. It's exactly how it sounds. It's just a big ring going all the way around the base with tons of windows and doors and whatnot, to where you can shoot down at any angle possible, giving you the maximum defense for your base while you're inside. As you guys can probably tell from the last base design I did as well, I love having a lot of windows and doors. That way you could see everywhere outside the base. No matter if someone's really far or right up on the wall, you can see every angle, so you don't have to worry about anyone camping your front door or anything like that. I feel that the possibility of defending your base from the inside is very important, and a lot of base designs really lack that. Behind the second door, it'll take you up another floor, and this is where you're gonna keep all of your loot and whatnot. I agree that there isn't a lot of storage room here, but you could definitely make it bigger if you like. You just have to sacrifice some of your honeycomb and whatnot, but honestly, for the size of the base, I think this is a perfect amount of storage for the amount of people that would live here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the floor plan now. That way you can get a better perspective of how the base is set up. As you can see here, there's 4 triangles that are all spaced apart. There's a layer of honeycomb surrounding all of those triangles that is also spaced away, and this is why I call it the Supercomb base, because there's so much honeycombing just packed down into this little compact design. From the outside, you would never expect this, honestly, because it just looks like a circular base designed with triangle foundations. If any of you guys aren't really familiar with the wall stacking technique, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how it works now. Basically, the foundations are just spaced apart enough to where you can put 2 walls right up against each other like that. Basically, this just slows down the raiders a bit and causes them to use double the amount of rockets or C4 as they would if there was just one wall there, of course. So it does seem to be pretty effective. Let's jump right into the build now that you guys are familiar with the base. Alright, so to build this base, you're going to want to start with the center triangle that the tool cupboard is going to go on. Go ahead and place that down, and then put triangles coming off of each corner of that triangle, if that makes sense. So it should look about like that there. Then you're going to put 2 square foundations coming off each way, and then delete the first square and the triangle. It should look like this now. I'll show you guys what those squares are for later on, but right now just leave them sitting there. Now that we got the points of the triangle done, we're going to need to get the spacing down for the sides of the triangle. So follow my lead here. It's kind of a long process of placing and removing foundations, but eventually it'll line up perfectly and everything. I'm sure there's a shorter way of doing this, but I couldn't really be bothered to figure it out, so I knew that this worked, and this is what I went with. Basically just copy everything I'm doing right here and then do the same thing on the other 2 sides of the triangle. Then once you have all that done, you'll be left with something looking like this here. Now that we have the sides of the triangles spaced out and whatnot, we're gonna need to extend away from these squares that I told you guys to put and come towards the main base itself. This is going to cover up the points on the triangle and keep it all spaced up really nice, giving you that outer layer of honeycomb. Go ahead and do it for all of the sides and extend it all the way around the base, and then your floor plan will be basically done at that point. At this point, go ahead and place your tool cupboard down, box it off, and give yourself a pat on the back for getting that pretty complex floor plan down. Then you're just going to start placing the actual base walls and whatnot. It's pretty straight up at this point. The hardest part of the base was just getting that floor down. So I'm just gonna speed it all up and put some music playing while you guys are watching this. Just follow along and whatnot. There's not really anything I need to talk about. It's just visual. You guys watch and copy what I do. Make sure you pay attention though. I'm not gonna speed it up too much. That way it doesn't confuse you guys, because there's a lot of areas where you gotta be pretty specific upon how you place things. That way it doesn't mess anything up down the line. So make sure you do pay close attention to everything. I'm sorry that this video is going to be kind of long. I didn't want to speed it up too much. That way you guys could really pay attention and whatnot and be able to follow along on something so confusing like this. But yeah, guys, just follow along and whatnot, and I will come back during the end of the build. If you made it this far, you're basically done with the base. What you can do after sealing up the loot room is put a floor or maybe two of honeycomb, just pure honeycomb floors over top the loot room. That way if anyone did raid tower onto the top of the base, they wouldn't be able to just throw 2 C4 down and get straight into your loot. Once you have the 1 floor or 2 floors of honeycomb down, you'll have a roof like this. The next part is totally optional. I just did it to relieve my OCD in base building. You could put up low walls around the base and then cover up all those little gaps with just random stuff, sandbags and stone barricades or anything really, just to cover up the gaps. The reason I say to do this is because if there's a tall mountain or anything next to your base, someone could go up on that mountain and look down onto the top of the base and see in fact that you do have those gaps in there. This might help them out when raiding, or make them want to raid you even more in hopes that you have some pretty sick loot in there. So like I said, that part is totally optional. You can cover up those gaps if you want, but if you don't really care, just totally leave it open. It's 100% up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how many C4 and how many rockets it takes to get from the outside to the tool cupboard in this base. When it comes to C4, it takes about 10 to 12 to get from the outside to the tool cupboard. You can add another layer of honeycomb around the base if you want to beef that up a little bit more. When it comes to rockets, it's going to take you about 17 rockets to get from the outside to the center of the tool cupboard. And as you can see, they really have to just basically blow up the whole side of your base to get all the way into the middle. That really does show how strong the supercombing is on this base. So yeah guys, I really hope you enjoyed this base design. If you're going to use it, definitely let me know in the comments below. Maybe tweet me a picture of it if you build it. Customize it and make it your own. Slap some more honeycomb layers on there. Do whatever you would like on the inside. It's totally up to you, and I would honestly love to see that. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.